Hi Gemini, welcome to April. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I start your reading, I want to just let you know what's coming up this month. So we have a new moon in Aries on April 1st, and that's favorable to your sign. It's also conjunct Mercury, which is your ruling planet. Then Venus moves into Pisces on the 6th. Mercury moves into Taurus on the 11th. Jupiter and Neptune come together in a conjunction, important conjunction, on the 12th. We'll get to that later. Mars moves into Pisces on the 15th. Then we have a full moon in Libra on the 16th, which is also favorable to your sign. And Pluto goes retrograde at the end of the month on the 29th. And that will be the first planet that's going retrograde since, since January or February. So then we have a new moon solar eclipse in Taurus on the 30th of April, but I'll talk about that next month. I'll give you a sneak preview, but I will go into depth on May's forecast about that one. So in the meantime, let's see what the cards say for Gemini about love and relationships. What does Gemini need to know about love and relationships for the month of April 2021? What does Gemini need to know for the month of April 2021? What does Gemini need to know about love and relationships for April 2022? I'm sorry, did I say 21? April 2022. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Let's see what we get. The Five of Cups. The Queen of Cups, the Judgment card, the Star, the King of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the World, Justice, and the Six of Wands. And the card underneath the deck is the Temperance card. Okay, so the Five of Cups, you're starting the month off with this card of, the Five of Cups is about, it's about feeling a sense of loss. So you might be thinking about the past, thinking about a relationship that didn't work out, because this person's focusing on their losses, focusing on the past, but they're not seeing what they still have in the present that is good. So you might be still healing from a relationship that ended, thinking that you'll never meet another person, or if you were in a relationship and it ended, you might be just wondering, what's next. Or sometimes the Five of Cups, and crossing this is the Queen of Cups. So this could work two ways. The Queen of Cups energy could mean that you have a good friend that you can talk to, that's very compassionate, that's there to hear, you vent and can give you solace and understanding and advice, because this queen is very compassionate, very loving, very healing. This could also represent the person you're pining away over. Maybe you left someone who was a water sign, could be Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or you left someone who was represented by this energy, which is someone very intuitive, someone very sensitive, someone very psychic. And maybe you're just remembering someone from the past and kind of wistfully thinking, about the one that got away. But you're not turning around and seeing you have the two cups that are still full. Now, if you're in a relationship and it's going through some problems, the Five of Cups can mean it's not completely over. You can salvage something from this relationship. So if you've experienced a heartache, you need to start looking at what's good about the person, what's good about the relationship, instead of just focusing on everything that's wrong. So it's not, I don't see it as a total ending. I think there's something that can be salvaged if you're in a relationship that's going through some problems. If you've already broken up and it's a done deal, then you might be just reminiscing about the past, of just thinking about a past relationship that didn't work out. So Judgment is in your past. Judgment is a card of, and you also have the Star. So I feel like there's hope. Even though you might have suffered some losses, Judgment is a card of waking up, having a spiritual awakening, and realizing where you need to change or what you need to change about yourself. Because you can't really control other people, and other events. You can't control what someone thinks, what someone says, what happens to you in the external world. All you can control is your reaction to it. And your reaction and the changes you make within will affect the future in a positive way. So the Judgment is about rebirth, rising from the ashes. So I feel like for some of you who have ended a relationship, you have an opportunity to learn from that experience and rise from the ashes and be reborn and have, new energy. So you've been spending a lot of time maybe working on yourself, realizing, where you need to make some changes, maybe in the way that you handle relationships or you deal with love. And I feel like this is something that's already been happening because it's in the past. So you're starting to feel stronger. I feel like it might not even just be relationships, it just mean life in general. Maybe you're eating healthier or you're exercising, you're taking better care of yourself, you're giving up some bad habits. And you're starting to feel empowered because the Judgment card is a card of, it usually comes up when you change jobs or change relationships, when you see the truth about something and you realize, I have to take action. If I don't take action, nothing's going to change. So you could have even initiated the breakup in some instances. But you have learned a lot since then. And because you've been working on yourself, your needs are changing. And you may not want the same things you used to want in the past. And that's why sometimes relationships and jobs end, because you're a different person and you have different needs now. You have the Temperance card here. These are two major arcanas, the Temperance and the Star. So the Temperance is about learning how to compromise, learning how to find balance in a situation. So it's possible that maybe you spent too much and there was an imbalance in the relationship, where maybe you were working all the time, you didn't have time for the relationship. Or you were with someone where two people were very different, and even though you were compatible, you had to enlarge your awareness to see the other person and understand their needs, because they're very different than your needs, and you may have had to compromise. And if you didn't do that in a relationship, if you wanted everything your way, then you would have had problems in the relationship, because then the other person's not getting what they need. So I think you're learning through a loss, you're learning how to compromise. You're learning how to see things from another person's perspective. And that's only going to bring hope. You have the Star here. The Star is about a wish fulfillment, wanting to achieve a goal or a dream. And I feel like there is hope, but it's going to take a while to get there, because the Star energy is not immediate. And I know Geminis are like Aries, you want things to happen quickly. Because you have this like quick energy and quick mind, and you may not have the patience, but the Star is saying don't give up hope. The Star is saying that you can achieve a beautiful relationship experience. You can achieve a dream. It's just going to take some time to get there. So be patient and go with the flow, especially because you have the Ace of Cups here, but it's in your negative thinking sector. But I'll get to that in a minute. So now coming up in the future, you have the King of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. Now that's a great card. The Ten of Pentacles is the wealth card. But it's not only wealth in terms of just money, it's feeling safe. So if you're in, the King of Swords can represent several things. The King of Swords can be a new person maybe coming into your life. But I think you know this person because it's a king, so it's not somebody completely, foreign to you. The king can sometimes represent something like some type of legal situation that's coming to completion, because you have the Justice here in your wish fulfillment. Justice represents, a fair settlement, something that happens a favorable outcome. So if you're waiting to hear about a legal case, maybe especially if you're getting a divorce, Justice is saying that there will be a fair outcome, a favorable outcome. I feel like you're ending a cycle here with the World card in your environment. Something is ending, but there's a new beginning starting to form. So there could be a relationship in the wings. If this person represents a relationship partner, it could be another air sign like yourself, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And even if it's not an air sign, it's someone who's very more intellectual than emotional. So the sword cards, or the air signs, they're more interested in an intellectual, mental connection with someone than a physical one. Not that they're not into physical, but they need someone they could talk to and share ideas with. So that could be the energy that's coming in. And this person could be very successful financially, could bring financial abundance to your life, this relationship. If you look at this Ten of Pentacles, it's someone who wants to take care of you, or wants to create a happy home, a secure home. Because if you look at this card, it's the couple with the kid and the two dogs. So it's kind of like, if that's your dream, to have a happy home, to have a family, to have a partner who's there for you, not to be struggling. If you were struggling financially, this partner can bring abundance to you. And that's in your near future. So that's coming up. So I think, love is definitely on. It may not be happening in April, but it might just, the beginning, like this is the card of, this position is something that's under development. It's like energy that's coming in, but it hasn't actually manifested yet. But it will. You have the Ace of Cups here. And that's a time card for June, July, August. So you may just be getting to know someone, or you might be just connecting with someone, but it may not take off. It might not actually develop into a romance or a relationship until the summer. So, and partly because you're afraid of it. It's in your fear sector. You might be blocking it because maybe you're also acting with the King of Swords energy, where you're being very cautious and discriminating, because the other meaning of the King of Swords is someone who's trying to separate what's real from what's not real. Be more discriminating, more discerning. So if in the past you jumped into a relationship without thinking, and then found yourself with the wrong person, this time around I think you're going to be more careful. So you're not going to jump so quickly, and so that way you're going to let things take its time. You're going to take your time before you commit, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. To feel like that you're sure of this person, and before you actually open up. And again, the World is in your environment. The World card is a great card. It means an ending of a cycle. So something that had been bothering you or on your mind, it might be like one relationship ends, another relationship begins. But it could also mean, sometimes the World could mean taking things to the next level. So if you've just been dating someone, some of you might decide you want more of a commitment. Or if it's just a friendship, it might move into love. Or if you've been with someone for a long time, you might be thinking, I want this person to be around. I want to create more of a commitment. I want to have a home and a family with this person. Maybe you've been kind of afraid to go in that direction because of whatever happened in the past. Maybe you're remembering a past relationship that didn't work out and you're afraid to commit again. But the World is definitely finding your place, finding your person, releasing the stress of the past. You're dropping the past and you're moving into new energy. And the new energy is positive, especially with the Justice here. Not only does that mean, a legal situation or a decision that goes in your favor. So for some of you, if you're going through a divorce or you're having some legal thing, it's going to work out in your favor if you're waiting to hear news. For others, it could mean if you're deciding to ask someone out, the Justice card can mean the answer will be yes. And in another case, this is your wish fulfillment, Justice. It's like you've been through the mill and now it's your turn. It's like a karmic reward that's coming to you. So you may have gone through a difficult time in the past, but you handled it in a positive way, and now you're getting your karmic reward. Justice will be done. So if you feel like you were treated unfairly in a past relationship, this new energy coming in is going to correct all that. It'll be different energy. There will be fairness. There will be abundance. There will be love. And you have the Six of Wands as an outcome card, which is a card of victory, being seen, and maybe even travel. You might decide to travel with this person. If this new person is coming, you might decide to move to a new location, or you may have to travel to get together, or you might just enjoy traveling with each other. But you're going to feel like you've accomplished something. You're going to feel like it's a victory. And there could be some people around you that are jealous, because things are changing for you. So if you left someone in the past, if you left someone to be with someone new, there may be a little bit jealousy around you because they're not happy that you're in this new thing. But it's your time. Love is coming. So don't give up. Don't give up on the star. Don't give up on the dream. You've learned a lot of lessons from your past relationships and your past experiences. You're learning how to compromise. You're learning how to feel stronger within yourself and not settle for less. And it's going to show. It's going to be better in the next. I feel like the next relationship is going to be a more successful one. Something that's more in tune to, or more compatible with you. So let's see what the angel cards have to say for Gemini. What message do you have from the angels? Self-criticism. We, your angels, ask you to please be more compassionate towards yourself. Observe the times when you have critical thoughts about you, and make an effort to replace these negative thoughts with positive, loving ones. You are a wondrous being of light, even if at times you think you are less than perfect. Remember that God and the divine perfection exists in all things. So maybe you've been giving yourself a hard time because of a failed relationship in the past. So don't criticize yourself over it. You did the best you could, you learned from it, and now you're going to make better decisions in the future. So let's see what the astrology is for April for Gemini. So you have this new moon in your 11th house, and it's conjunct Mercury, your ruling planet, and Chiron. The 11th house is the house of hopes, wishes. You have a chance for a new beginning. And there could also be a message that comes in. And you could have a healing conversation with someone. Maybe you need to have some closure with a past situation or a past relationship. There could be a new relationship that comes from your friends, connections that you know, groups that you know. Because the 11th house is the house of the groups you belong to, the friendships that your friends. Maybe you're a member of a group and you get introduced to someone. So if you're not in a relationship, the 11th house is about networking, getting out in groups, getting out and meeting people. So there could be a new beginning, maybe some new friends, or a new start in an old friendship even. I feel like if you've had a falling out with a friend, it's a good time to talk about it and come to some kind of closure and understanding. You have Venus and Mars and Saturn have been in your 9th house. Thankfully, by April, Venus has moved away from Saturn. So like last month, it might have been kind of a lonely time. You might have felt isolated from loved ones. It was not easy energy. But Venus now has crossed over Saturn and is moving away from Saturn. Mars is still applying to Saturn, so there could be some things to work out that have to do with long-distance travel, higher education, your belief system. I feel like you might be ready to make a commitment, and it could be you're thinking about maybe travel, maybe reaching out, moving to a different location, or going back to school, getting some additional training to make yourself more relevant in your career. In your 10th house, you have Jupiter and Neptune, which are going to come together in April, on April 12th. But they're in there now, in your 11th house. In your 10th house, I'm sorry. So that's the house of career, your life direction, So something really positive can be happening in your career sector. If it's not a job opportunity, it could also be a situation where you find, you change your life status. You go from single to married, married to single. If it's a partner coming into your life, it could be a soulmate connection. Because Jupiter represents opportunity and expansion. Neptune represents a miracle, a dream come true. So whatever you're trying to achieve, go for it after this new moon in Aries. Just go for it. Don't give up the dream. Put some work into it. Take action, because you can achieve more than you realize. And you'll have friends to help you, because this new beginning is happening in your 11th house. So you're not going to be alone. You'll have the support of others. Now, the North Node is in your 12th house, and Saturn and Mars are squaring it, and actually Venus, all of them. So you may have some baggage to deal with that you need to release. Maybe something that has to do with your belief system, what you believe is possible. Maybe you need to learn some lessons and release some past karma. I feel like you're releasing karma. So whatever happened in the past, just let it go. Drop your baggage. Don't feel guilty. End a bad situation if it's difficult. You've learned your lesson. You paid your dues. So I feel like the North Node wants you to work on these psychological issues so that they're not controlling you. Maybe you've been led by, unconscious programming, and it's time to release. What else is happening here? Then we have the full moon in Libra, and that's happening in your 5th house. So the moon's in the 5th, the sun is in the 11th. Something could be completing in terms of some kind of, either the 5th house has to do with creative projects, children, romance, having fun. So if you meet someone new, if you've started some new relationship, it could come to a head around the time of this full moon, where you see like certain things come to the surface. So if someone, you may realize that there's someone around you that you want to get to know better. You may be finishing up a creative project. You may have some positive, something completing around children, if you have children. Now, the only difficulty with this full moon in Libra is that it's squaring Pluto in the 8th house. So there could be some complications around money. There could be someone, you might have some power struggles around financial support. So if you're waiting for child support, or if you're waiting for some type of financial assistance from like a government institution, or maybe a bank loan or an inheritance, there could be some complications that you have to work out with, and with the other party is kind of controlling the purse strings and making life difficult for you. So you want to do this thing and you need funding, but they're making it difficult. They may demand a lot more. You might have to fight or stand up for yourself in some kind of financial battle. Just don't get caught up in power struggles or manipulation. Don't react. Don't be reactive. Saturn is still in your 9th house. So you could be working hard towards a goal, especially if it relates to education, higher education. Like you're wanting to advance in your career, and Saturn's giving you an opportunity to learn or to teach. So if you're older and you have a lot of wisdom to share, you could be working on it's also publishing, writing a book, teaching. If you're a little bit younger, or if you're needing to upgrade your skills, you might be going to school to get some more training. And it could be a little bit rigorous with Saturn there. Like you're working really hard, but it will pay off. So don't give up. Mercury and Uranus. Mercury will have moved into Taurus. No, not Taurus. What am I saying? Yeah, Taurus. So it's going from Aries to Taurus. Mercury in Taurus is a little bit stubborn. So you want to try not to be too stubborn or rigid in your beliefs. But Mercury is coming together with Uranus in Taurus in your 12th house. So I feel like there are some things that you really need to either look at beneath the surface or communicate. Maybe you haven't been able to talk about what's going on with you psychologically, like behind the scenes. So there could be a message that comes out or information that comes out at this full moon that might take you by surprise, because there might be, especially if you're working somewhere, it could be that things are like they might be discussing things behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden around the full moon it comes out. And actually, though, this Mercury and Uranus are sextile Venus in your 10th. So it's going to be positive for you in your work situation. You might be offered a position where you're being more creative, where you can use your creativity. There could even be a romance coming through the people you know at work or through your career in some way. Again, Venus and Jupiter and Neptune are in your 10th house in Pisces. And Venus is there too. So it could be a dream. It could be a dream job. You find like the perfect thing. That's where you're doing work that you love. You're able to use your creativity, creative self-expression. The only thing, you might have some power struggles around the money. Or some kind of grant opportunity. I don't know, there might be some funding issues around this new opportunity that you have to work out before you can step into it. But it should complete itself by that time. So if there's any kind of financial difficulty, you'll hear news around the full moon. And especially since, let's see, Pluto is in your 9th house, then it goes retrograde at the end of the month. So you might have to rethink some things that have to do with finances. The 8th house has to do with other people's money. It's not the money you make with your job. It's the money that you get from other people. Like, so it could be a partner's income, or it could be like a loan from a bank, or an inheritance, or an insurance payout. So there could be some, like if you're waiting for an insurance to pay you or a bank to pay you, they might be really demanding. They might want a lot of information, and you may feel frustrated. But I feel like it's going to be positive. At the end, after all the hard work, you will get your wish. And then we have this new moon eclipse in Taurus, which I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it is in your 12th house. So you are going to have a chance to make a psychological breakthrough. And that will happen at the end of the month. And it'll be in play for the next 6 months until the next eclipse. The next new moon eclipse, which will be in the fall sometimes. So I feel like this is a good time for you to really look at psychological issues, anything that's been holding you back, self-esteem issues, and really step into your power this month. But before you can do that, you have to maybe work with someone and uncover some of the things that have been maybe blind to you. Sometimes the 12th house can represent blind spots. Like everybody can see what we're doing, but we can't see. So you may have to make some changes in your thinking, or changes in how you see yourself, where you can release old karma, release the baggage, and then move into this new beginning, free of all that, like a new person being reborn. And then you can start attracting all this abundance. I feel like abundance is coming to you, but you may have to do some psychological work before you can let it in. Like you might be blocking it. So that's my forecast, Gemini, for April. I think that April and May are going to be turning points for a lot of people in a positive way. It may shake things up a little bit, but it will lead you on the right path. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. That's how it. Leave a comment. I love reading everyone's comments. Let me know if this resonated with you. It's a general reading, so it may not resonate with everyone. But if you want a private reading where we just focus on you and your problems or your issues, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website and we can get you on the schedule. In the meantime, thank you everyone for supporting this channel. If you're new, welcome. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, have a wonderful April. Bye now.